Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Mind of Reese. Oh my gosh, so we are literally connecting back into season 3 because I took a 2-week off hiatus in order to go gallivanting in the Amazon River, and I am so excited that I will be sharing this basically it's like going to be I think a 2 to 3 parter of my Amazon trip because there's just so much to go in detail and how much I've shifted and changed and how much this is going to affect my business, and I'm so excited about it. Before we get into all of that, I would like to just let you know that holy shit, this week is the week where my apprenticeship program is up for grabs. So now if you want to, if your dream has always been to become a tattoo artist, an intentional tattooer, and you want to do it in a different way of mentorship, the way that I want to run this is basically very hands-on. I'm taking days off for you so I can show you. I'm only taking on clients where they know they're there for educational purposes so that I can literally teach you in real time. Basically this 8-month intensive apprenticeship program where you are with me for 2 to 3 days out of the week, and then you get to go home and work, and we give you homework and all this stuff. It's going to be very intensive, very hands-on. I love it. The application is now out and available for those that want to get in. And yeah, and the application is due December 8th. So all the applications have to be in by December 8th. We're going to weed them out. We're going to have our interviews. And then February 1st is when we start. So if you've always wanted to be a tattoo artist, you've been aspiring to be one, you're an artist, and you're just like, holy shit, this is my chance. Go ahead and click in the show notes. Get yourself an application, and because it's like a 4-parter application, we're gonna ask you some questions. We're gonna have you send us a video of who you are, what you do, all the good stuff, and it's gonna be, we're very spiritually driven over here, so we're gonna be asking some very spiritual questions of you, of course, and we're gonna ask you to do a drawing for us as well. So yeah, excited things. Next thing is we have Inspired and Aligned out. This is my annual manifesting, shadow working, goal setting program workshop. It's a 3-day workshop that I do. Every day is almost about an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of, oh my gosh, fuck the fluff, no fluff given information on how you can make the most aligned year of your next year, which is 2023, and how you can actually utilize this workshop throughout the year every time you start to evolve and change, because when we are on the spiritual path, we are constantly evolving and changing, and that means our goals and wants will evolve and change as well. So you set yourself up for success, not only internally but vibrationally, energetically, and then to allow yourself to take the inspired steps outwardly in the 3-dimensional world, the human experience, to get to where you want to go, to build the reality of your wildest dreams. And so you're not going to want to miss it. It starts in December. You can sign up now, currently at $222, which is a no-brainer price. This is literally 6+ hours of juicy, hardcore information that will just literally propel you, quantum leap you from where you are to where you want to be. So in the show notes, go ahead and sign up for that. That's for all creatives, not just tattooers. All creatives are welcome. If you think you are a creator, which you are, everybody's a creative, goddammit. You can sign up for this class if this is feeling the call for you. I also have my tattoo immersion, one-on-one VIP days. So for the tattoo artist that is looking to dive deeper into their tattoo techniques, this is a one VIP day. Basically, you come to San Diego, you come and spend it with me. We go over your business, we go over your tattoo techniques, we go over energetics, spirituality, we go over ritualizing, ceremonializing your tattoo experiences, all of the above. You get to have me for about 5 to 6 hours where we just go over all the things you want to go over, and we basically make the program around you, your tattooing, your business. And yeah, so if you've ever wanted to have a one-on-one class, I really wish I had this when I was first starting my tattoo career, or just even now. Actually, I saw someone else doing it, which I think I already signed up for, so I'm not even gonna so I am saying that it is happening now, but it is so nice to be able to have a hands-on experience with a mentor that you look up to. And so this is something that I've always wanted to offer, and I am offering not a lot of days out of my next year because my next year is so busy. So I'm definitely doing that. So tattoo immersion, if you're a tattoo artist wanting to up your game, social media, marketing, tattoo business overall, structural strategy, energetics, intuition, all of the above. Basically anything having to do with tattoos, anything you want to ask me or anything, any burning questions you've ever wanted to know, I am here and available for you. My VIP one-on-ones are now open. This is my online via Zoom mentorship for tattooers looking to go the 6 figures and beyond area of life, where if you are making almost 6 figures and you're trying to go above the 6 figures, get into the 200, the 300s, that's where you want to go. That's where we're going to take you. This is a very hands-on container. It's a 6-month container. I no longer have it at 3 months, 6-month container where it's just you, me, and the universe. And we run our business together, so you can also get into that. But today, enough of that. There's so many things in my container list. You can literally go to my website and go and click under coaching, and there are a million things that you can plug in and play at every price point, from freebies all the way up to my my bigger, higher caliber containers, anywhere from I think it's like my highest caliber one right now is 20 grand. So all of the above. Anything you want to plug in and play, you want to just get a little closer to me, get a little taste of it, go in there. But for today's episode, let's talk about it. I'm talking to you about, my experience of just getting to the Amazon rainforest, what I've learned from this indigenous tribe, the Yawanawa tribe, what the indigenous people have taught me about community connection, and the universal language of just kindness and love, because I obviously didn't speak Portuguese, so didn't understand a word anybody was saying, but definitely understood what I was feeling and what they were energetically putting off. So this is the first part of my, I think, 3-parter for the Amazon rainforest trip, and it has literally changed my life forever. And and I manifested this. And if you were listening to any of my last episodes, you'll know that I've definitely manifested this into my life, and I can't believe that I've done that. And I'm literally living the life that I've built for myself and that I'm manifesting, and it's fucking incredible. So I hope you guys love this episode. Please let me know. Share it on your stories, share it with the DMs. I love knowing that you love it, because it continues to inspire me to do more. So I love you guys, and I will see you in the next episode. Welcome to another episode of The Mind of Reese. I am laughing because if you were watching this on my YouTube channel, you will notice that I'm holding a microphone with a hand. It's like a hand attached to a microphone. It's actually pretty funny. And I'm coming on here to be all profound and talk about all the wisdom and learnings that I had from the Amazon. And I have a hand in my face holding a microphone. Reason being is that my computer, I think, got wet somehow, or I don't know what happened, but it broke on my way back home from the Amazon. And so, yes, I lack no computer, which means my Yeti doesn't hook up. So this means that we are recording on my phone with a little microphone in the hand, in a plastic hand. So I'm like a 3-hander right now. Okay, so this is how it goes, you know what I mean? We just have to continue to roll on, laugh at the things. How chill can we be in life, you know what I mean? It's such a big deal, and yet it's not that big of a deal. I want this to be so profound, but yet it really means nothing. It's how can we hold that paradox, you know? And so this is where I'm at. I am going to get really deep with you with 3 hands in my face. So let's see, man. I have been home for a few days from the Amazon rainforest, and it has been a life-changing experience. I'm sure this is going to be more than one part, as far as me talking about my experience with ayahuasca, with staying with the Yawanawa tribe, the indigenous tribe out there in the Amazon rainforest, my journey there, and what ayahuasca did for me and things like this. So I think we just start from the beginning. The trip took 2.5 days. So it was a 3-hour flight to Dallas, a 10-hour flight to Sao Paulo, a 1.5 hour flight to Brasilia, a 5.5 hour flight to Cruzeiro. And none of these flights go direct, so it has to be done this way. I mean, I think you can fly into Brasilia and maybe cut out one of those flights, but these are 4 flights. And the flight to Cruzeiro, you go on the plane, you ride for 4 hours, then you land, and anybody that gets off, but anybody that's staying on stays on. So you have to stay on the plane in order to get to Cruzeiro. So you have to touch down, fly back up, get to Cruzeiro. Cruzeiro is a town that kind of reminds me a little bit of Tijuana. Just in like a really cute, kitsy kind of way. Like, I love Tijuana. There's parts of Tijuana, or maybe even like Rosarito a little bit more, maybe not as Tijuana where you feel a little unsafe. Because in Cruzeiro, you do feel really safe. But it just has that vibe. And that's the only thing I can attribute it to, since here in California, I'm so close to Tijuana. That's what it reminds me of: the colors, the buildings, the dogs, a lot of stray dogs. And so that's just the mindset that the vision that I receive when I was there. And then from there, we ended up taking a 2-hour bus ride. And the reason why it's 2 hours is because the roads are potholed. There's potholes everywhere. So the poor bus driver, it's not even a bus, it's just a big van, is trying to just maneuver around all these huge potholes, because if we were just to go through the potholes, probably, fuck up the car pretty badly. And so 2-hour bus ride. And mind you, the only flights in and out of Cruzeiro are like at midnight and 3 a.m. And so you have to, you know what I mean? So like these flights in and out of that place in order to even get to the river that we're going on. And it's in Amazon River. It's not the Amazon River. I can't remember the name of the river actually. But yeah, so it's like, this is like at 6 a.m. we're taking a bus ride when we just landed, maybe like 2 hours prior, 2 hours of sleep. You have to grab all of your snacks at the airport just because you're about to go on a 7-hour canoe ride down an Amazon River. And honestly, the canoe ride's probably my favorite. When I heard that we were going to do this, I was like, gosh, 7 hours on a boat. Like, I don't know how I'm going to feel, but it's magical. And the moment that I touched down on that sand in order to hop in to that canoe, I knew I was home. I knew that ancestrally somehow I had been here before. I had to have another life, ancestors. I don't know. I am Native American, Cherokee Native American, and I'm also Filipina. And so I don't know how that could be possible, but it is, because I've never felt the sense of peace and ease when I get there. Anytime I go any other country, like Europe, anywhere in Europe, other places like in that regard, and like even in Asian countries, except for the Philippines, and even in the Philippines, now that I'm thinking back about it, that like I didn't feel like this sense of like, oh my gosh, this is like my motherland. But anytime I go to like Central America or South America, I just feel some sort of peace and some sort of like I've been here before, or a deja vu feeling. And so when I touched barefoot to sand right when we were about to get into these canoes, I knew. I was like, yes. And it was funny too, because when I felt the call to go to this thing, it was just such a no-brainer. Like if you listen to my last episode, I'm talking about, it was a hell yes for me, a full body yes, no problem. It didn't even bother me. I was like, no, I'm doing this. And then now, obviously in the last episode, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm losing control. Like, what am I doing? I'm going to not be working, all this stuff. And the moment my feet touched the ground, it was as though none of it mattered. I get chills just thinking about it. None of it mattered. And so we get in our boat, me and my flatmates, my mentor, Hajina, and her friend, also coworker, Claudia, and me. We're all sharing a boat, and there's others on this trip with us. And it was so divine, the people that were on this boat with us, because not on this boat, on this trip. And because it was almost confirmation. Everything, each one of us had gifts. And it was funny, one of the girls, her name was Ryden, she was like, I feel like we're at Hogwarts because each of us have gifts and we're all sharing in our gifts and how we utilize them, because we're all like witches and wizards, and it was so fun. And we'll get into that, what I mean by that later. But yeah, we end up going down this river, and on each side of me are just beautiful beaches, empty banks, and empty river banks, and lots of life. So much green. I can't even describe it. I've been to Hawaii. I've been to the Philippines. But there was something about this particular space and time that there was just something energetically that you could just feel nature just welcoming you. And as a woman who, as a very spiritual woman who has an affinity for talking to trees, I speak to plants. Like, plants are my thing. I don't know what happened over my lifetime. I didn't even know how to take care of a plant, and all of a sudden in the last 2 years, plants just call to me. And now I listen I believe, and I truly believe, and this is with also just a lot of mentors and books and things like that, that I truly believe that as you become aware and you follow the spiritual path and you become more sensitive to the energies around you, because you're opening up your eyes, you're no longer living up in your mind, you're living into your body. What happens is that you're allowing yourself to be empathetic, to allow your empathy to really shine through. And the more vulnerable you actually are, but the vulnerability as like a strength, the more that you are just open and owning to those energetics, and not just discerning it as like, oh, that was just a fluke, oh, that's just a coincidence, oh, this, oh, that, what societal conditioning would have us do. We actually believe the things that we are feeling, thinking, and hearing within our bodies. It's like they actually can talk to you. And what's funny about that is that when you look at science around all of this stuff, you get this sense that we're all one. And you feel that. When you hear that for the first time, you're like, whoa, that gives me chills. I feel like some part of that's right, but I just don't understand. And we are. So as you open yourself up onto this path, you become more open energetically to speaking, to channeling, to really allowing your three-dimensional form to be a conduit for messages from the creator, from God, from the universe, from your guides, from whatever it is that you might feel. And so, automatically you just feel this right when you are on this boat. And, my intention going into this was that, I knew I had manifested this into my life, and not so many words. If you listen to my last podcast episode, I go in depth into how this happened and why, we can't always look at manifesting the thing that we want as the thing that we expect. I was like, I want to become a better leader, more rooted in my leader, and move through all of the shadows and doubts that are within me and remove them from my body, and really come into my magic and really come into my healing abilities, because I knew deep I was a healer. Deep, I'm a light worker. Deep, I am a starseed. Deep, I just know that I'm a witch. I have this deep-rooted feeling within me that I have powers that could heal, and I just was too afraid to allow them to really shine through. And because I have grown up in a space where logic was ruled, it's like there's no such thing. You can't talk to plants. You can't talk to the trees. They have no conversation with you. They're inanimate. You can't heal people through your hands. It's not going to happen. That warmth you feel whenever you think about it, that's not it, And so as I dive deeper into my spirituality and dive deeper into the curiosities within me, Reiki, I started getting into Reiki, and now I'm like really on this path of Reiki and, deciding whether or not I want to become a Reiki master, and healing people through Reiki and, clearing energetic clearings within themselves through breath work, it's just like all of these different techniques that I utilize with my clients, whether that be tattooer clients or even tattooing clients. So like my tattoo collectors as well as tattoo artists, I utilize this practice with everybody. And so, especially if anybody that's really open to receiving this kind of clearing, healing, and that kind of thing, if that's what their wish is, that's what we get into. And so, it's like right when I got to the Amazon, I just felt all of my gifts just start to really scintillate. It was almost like electric in my fingertips. And I was just like, what the fuck is happening right now? I'm like, what is happening? And then we get there 7 hours later, and we meet this incredible indigenous community. And it's just like, we were there to celebrate the inauguration of this school, actually. So they built a school. Ishkunkwa, who is the chief, he had a vision on when he was during Aya ceremony that they were going to open up a school because the language of the Yawanawa, it was dying, and only like 19 people knew it. And so they were going to create a school for it. And the program is called Children of the Rainforest, where the Yawanawa children are going to go through these programs in order to continue to learn the language so they can keep the language and the culture alive. And, most of the Yawanawa tribe is young kids. It's all young people, and so it's really interesting that, they just don't grow up learning that language. They grow up learning Brazilian or Brazilian Portuguese. And so, you get to this tribe and everybody's wearing, they have it's like getting up to put your makeup on. They just got red war paint all over their bodies. They've got black war paint, red war paint all over their bodies. Some are wearing Crocs. Some are wearing soccer shirts, their favorite soccer team shirts. Others are wearing grass skirts with their soccer team shirts. It's just such a dichotomy of different styles going on, from modern to tribal, and it's just really interesting to be a part of. And we're all, we're in the middle of nowhere, so we have no access to the outside world, so phones off. Didn't use my phone for 9 days. Was absolutely stoked to be offline, off the grid. No technology within my grasp, except for the few times that I did take some photos and videos, just because I was like, holy shit, I just want to make sure that this was actually real. I actually did this. I can't believe that I not only stepped so far out of my comfort zone and did something that was so unlike the Reese that I would have known even just a year ago. She would have never done this. She would have been like, there is no way I'm taking 2 weeks off for this. This has nothing to do with my business. But as I've grown spiritually, this has so much to do with my business. Everything has so much to do with my business. Everything in my life, any healing moment, anytime I invest in my healing, my spirituality, my energy, my work, all of this is a part of my business. My business is my art. I am creating art every single day. I am a creator. As are you, as are everyone, anybody that's listening to this podcast. You are a creator of your business. You get to create it in any way you want to. You get to morph it in beautiful ways that you see fit because it matches you. It doesn't have to match anybody else. You take all the resources that you've learned, all the things you learn from mentors. You find someone that you look up to. And as you look up to, you invest in a mentor, and you're just like, I like the way you've done it, so I want to understand how you do it, so I can utilize what you do, learn it, and morph it into my own unique way of doing things so that I can move on and be the leader that I need to be for the people that are coming into my life. And that is just the way it goes. That's just the way I believe it goes. And so I'm here. I'm at this place. I'm feeling the magic. I'm feeling my gifts. I'm learning the way of the culture, this indigenous culture. I'm here to celebrate as well. And, it was funny because the moment we touched down, it was a Thursday, and we were completely offline by that morning. And it was like 7 at night, so we got some dinner. They made us some soup. Honestly, the food was pretty good. And I'm not going to lie, it was like glamping. It was like 5-star restaurant, because they did build... For the school, they build little huts for the kids, but we ended up being able to stay in those huts. It's just made out of wood and some mesh. And yeah, there were bathrooms and toilets, totally fine. The only difference is that, the toilets were kind of gross. But at the end of the day, there was always someone trying to clean everything up. But there's a lot of people using those toilets. And, you know, you had like 1,000 eyes looking at you every 2 seconds. You know, you had bugs that were like the size of pterodactyls. And like crustacean era sized, you know, fucking centipedes and grasshoppers that were the size of your head. And, you know, it was just like so gnarly, but it was just teeming with life. Like cicadas. I've never seen such big cicadas, and the way that they would scream. Trust me, my flatmate Claudia we decided that first night that we were going to take a shower together. We're like, listen, we're going to take, and plus all cold showers. So that was rough for me. I love I love hot showers. You never realize how much you love a hot shower until you don't have it anymore. And so when I had no hot water, I was like, I'm going to love this. I'm going to tell myself I love this. And I'm also going to be super grateful for the fact that I do have warm water at home when I go home. So it wasn't that I was feeling lack. I was actually feeling a lot of gratitude for being able to experience this, and also just to know that I know that warm water was waiting for me. And so, but in this experience, we were just like, let's just take a shower together. You know, our first night, and a cicada got stuck in her hair, and it's screaming. It's like screaming so loud, like, ee! It's so loud, and we're screaming. We're like, ah! And I don't know anything about cicadas. I'm like, do they bite? Like, and me and my Western ass is like, what's happening, you know? Like, and so I'm trying to grab the cicada out of her hair. It's stuck. He's screaming. We're screaming. And everybody in the camp is hearing us scream. And everybody's like, we're not taking showers. That's just not what we're doing. You know, we have beetles the size of like your hand. It's like, it was insane. Honestly, and then by day 8, you know, I'm releasing cicadas. I'm like grabbing them. I'm like holding all the moths. I'm doing all these crazy nature girl things. I'm like a jungle girl by the end of this, where all the insects are friends at this point, and I'm able to, just because there's so many. Like, you go to bed sleeping with bugs. Like, that's just the way it went, you know? And so you just become friendly with the bugs. You realize that most of them aren't even there to bite you. And they're unfortunately dumb as a box of rocks. But what's so funny about it is that, like, they would flip over on their back and then, like, try to get up, and you'd help them, and they flip over again. And you're just like, what is the point of you? And you think about it, and you're like, the Amazon is just teeming with so much life. It's allowed to have so much abundance that you could have dumb insects. Like, I just don't understand. And I loved that concept of just, like, it's so much life. There's so much abundance. There's enough. There's more than enough for everyone. And it was just so insane. Even when we had dinners and breakfast and lunch, it was like same time every day, and it was something different, and it was always so good, and it was so filling and so nourishing. Even though it was plain, there wasn't a lot of salt or anything. It was just like there was enough. There was enough of it for all of us, for everybody in the entire tribe, the entire community. And it really taught me a lot about happipiness. It taught me that they didn't have money. If they did make money, it all went to the chief so that they could build these things. Like if one of the women washed your clothes, you tipped them. If you bought some jewelry from another woman, you gave her money. All that money was just a pile of money that they would give to the chief so that they could put it all together for the food, the resources, and things that they needed for their community. So that was it. They literally had enough for exactly what they needed, and they were happy as fuck. Happy. Just always smiling. And it was like this, I didn't know how to speak Portuguese, and it was just this universal language of kindness, of just utter kindness, just smiles and touches and hand holding and hugs. And it was just like, it made you really think about the things that we think make us happy. You know, I talk about all the time about how like the external world is not what makes us happy. It's the internal world. And I'm getting like super emotional about it because over there it's about their community. It's about the growth of their community. It's about their families. It's just about love. And that's the language. The language is the world soul universal language is love. And when you really feel something like that, you start to begin to wonder, what are your priorities? What is the priority here? That was one of the many fucking lessons I learned while I was out there. And it was like, what is my fucking priority right now? What is my priority in my life? Is it to chase the money, which it was my entire life from 14 years old when I've lied about my age to work all the way up until this point in time. As I started on my spiritual journey, I started to really understand that it wasn't all about money. But the chasing the money felt fun. It was fun to me. Like, it's fun for a lot of us. We're like, fuck yeah, look at us go. Like, I could just continue on. And then we realize again, like, oh, that money isn't everything. It's not enough. But then how can we hold the duality of it? It's like, I want to support my joy. I want to support my curiosity. How do I do that? I do that by doing something I love and knowing that whatever it brings me, it's going to be enough plus some. I know that. I don't know what has shifted. I've always known this. But for some reason, it was like the money equaled my worth, and I still had layers of that particular limiting belief onion left in me. When I think about our shadows, I think about onion. I think about an onion. You're peeling back an onion. I was just had a podcast episode with one of my VIP clients, tattoo artist. Her name's Samantha Lewis, and she's amazing. And she was just talking about how, when we do energy clearing or shadow work and things like this, we're peeling back the onions. We're literally removing layers, and depending on the depth that you go, it's depending on how many layers. Doesn't mean that it all goes away in one shot. It could, but oftentimes you're just peeling back layers. So what I have been doing on my journey for the last year and a half, 2 years, it's like we're literally peeling back. I'm literally shedding a layer and layer and layer of this money belief around my self-worth. The more money I make, the more worthy I am to do anything. The more money I make, the more the just means that I'm a really good artist because I can make that much money. The more money I make, the a better mentor I am, because obviously people think people are getting and paying me for mentorship and blah blah blah. It's just like, it's like all of these things surrounded by money, and how we know logically it's not based on our worth, but yet we still have this inkling belief within us, our foundational beliefs inside of us that still have that belief around it, because we can't logic our way out of anything. Our logical brain can't talk to our subconscious mind. It's like you're just yelling at a void there, because what's happening is that your subconscious mind is based around your inner child, your inner teenager, your inner young adult, your inner critic, your ego. You've got several different psyches in there that you've got to actually become friends with before you can even start to peel back any layers. Because if they think that they're not feeling heard, any part of your psyche doesn't feel like it's feeling heard, it's going to react in whatever way it feels like it wants to react in the moment that it needs to. You know, when you post a piece of content and no, it doesn't get liked as much, and you feel that feeling of like, oh fuck, that piece of content didn't do that well, and you get really down about it, and then you try to say like, oh well, fuck it doesn't matter, oh fucking Instagram algorithm, blame all of these other things. That's a different psyche reaction. That's not you, your highest self reacting. That is a different psyche reaction. That's your ego. That is your inner child that got really down, but then it's your ego being like, fuck that thing, it's fucking, oh, it's the algorithm. Let me blame everything outside of myself. So it's like, we're going to have these moments. So even for me, when I get to this spot, I'm like, wow, I have yet to release some of the onion layers around my money beliefs, around what I'm chasing. Am I chasing the money, or am I chasing the joy? I'm chasing the motherfucking joy. I want to chase the joy. So how do I support that joy? Well, I do things that I love and just know that whatever it brings me is going to be enough. Or how can I support that joy? Well, let's look at it this way. I was talking to someone about my mentorship and how I really love education right now. I love it. I love helping people. I fucking love it. I love it. I love seeing people thrive. It is my love. This love was the love I had when I first started tattooing, when I was like, oh my God, I fucking love tattoo. I love art. I love painting. I love drawing. And every iteration of ourselves that evolves and change, we're going to fall in love and do other things. And although I'm still in the tattoo industry, what's happening right now, since I love being an educator, but I can't let that fully, right now, because it will, but right now it can't fully support me by itself. So how do I have it support me? Through my tattooing. I love tattooing, but right now my joy is in educating. And if I could educate more full time, I would, and tattoo for fun. But right now, tattoo sustains the joy of educating. And tattooing I'm doing to make sure I'm sustaining my bills. But I'm actually about half and half right now. So I'm feeling really, really proud of that, having been an educator for about 2.5 years. And so I'm feeling really good in that. And this is like honestly the first year I really would consider myself a massive educator, just because this was the first year. 2022 is the first year that I doubled down on my damn ass. I doubled down on me. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to spend $90,000 investing in myself this year, even when it was fucking scary, even when I had to go on credit cards, even when I was just like, fuck it, like, let's fucking go. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. The moment I decided that I was worth it was the moment that I doubled, tripled some parts of my income. And that goes with the educational side. Like last year, I think I made $40K in the entire year for education, which is great. Fucking great. I was so proud this year. I've made, God, I think I've almost made, I think I'm at 250,000 in education. That's like half my income. That's fucking amazing. I can't believe it. From last year to 40 to this year to 250. Like, what the fuck? Because I invested in myself, because it was scary, because I took a leap of faith. This is the point. And this, again, here I am at the Amazon taking a leap of faith on something that I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm feeling called. I'm going to follow the curiosity. So let me support this joy. Let me support the curiosity. That is the reason why we are here. We are here as humans to have a human experience. It's not a human experience to wake up, do the same goddamn thing every single day. That is not the human experience we are meant to live. That is something we were taught to do. We were taught to do that. Now we have to unlearn and relearn what it is to be a human, what it is to have a human experience. And it's funny because you can have a human experience and totally fully channel into a different dimension, to a different realm, 4D, 5D. You know, I feel like I'm walking in between both. I feel like I can get into the 5D a lot faster now through meditation, through breath work, through things that I just know are my resources, because I've opened up my channels to trust. And trusting comes with investing in yourself, in doing things you don't fucking know why. You're like, this makes no sense. Love is not logical. Your joy equates to love is not logical. It's not going to be logical. The only thing you need a logic through is obviously in our human. We are problem solvers. We want to solve the problem, and sometimes these problems just can't be solved. It's not like, I can't look at it from like, okay, I fall in love with a guy and I can't tell him I love him until 6 months in, because it would be weird if I did anything else. We can't get married till 3 years in, and da-da-da. And it's like, it's not like a timeline like that. It's not linear. Like, business is not supposed to be linear. It's going to have ups and downs. And the best thing is that being an entrepreneur, we chose to be in the unknown. We chose to fear. We chose to fucking feel uncomfortable 24/7, because we're like, yeah, totally. Let me choose a job that's always unknown. Perfect. How can I easily move through this instead of reacting from a unregulated nervous system? You know what I mean? And so here I am taking leaps of faith all year long, manifesting everything I could have ever desired, plus some. Never would have thought. Strayed on some of those things, on some of the goals from the beginning of the year, and decided to full send on other things that I thought were a 5-year plan. And now it just turned out it's going to be my this year plan. I was like, oh, in 5 years, I am going to open up an educational facility. I'm going to open up an educational school, basically, where I teach tattooers how to tattoo, where we'll have seminars. I'll bring out best of the best tattooers to come do seminars, and there can be like a hub and a place and a creative space for people to come and tattoo in San Diego and da-da-da-da-da. And I thought for sure this was like a 5-year plan. I'm already starting it. I just decided I'm starting it. I manifested my artist leaving. You can listen to that podcast episode and how I did that. And decided to go on my own for a little bit so I can do this, so I can open up the school without having to feel stressed out about other artists being there and counting on me to be like, what the fuck, Reese? Like, this is our shop. Like, what are you doing? So I'm opening up a bigger shop. Obviously, we know that. So it's just like, it's just so much. And so back to the Amazon. Here I am understanding the fucking priority of happiness, understanding what that actually looks like and how it looks like to these people. And really just finding my own learnings in this, that happiness has nothing to do with money and things. And the fact that I've got so much of it, I'm so fucking grateful. And that I will hold the duality, because the way that I look at success is changing. But that does not mean that I don't desire more. And that's the best part, because as a woman, I want to cultivate that pleasure of desiring more. That is my right as a human. I desire pleasure, and that pleasure comes from up-leveling and upgrading within myself. It's like I know I am wealthy inwardly before I am rich. And that's the thing, that's the point. Is that when you really cultivate the wealth within you, you will be taken care of. And that is what that is what going to the Amazon, the first thing I learned, among the many, the first thing I learned was that they already knew they were so fucking abundant and wealthy within themselves, that of course the food just showed up on the table, that of course the things that they needed, of course they were able to manifest this beautiful fucking building, to channel this through, to invite people and to invite Westerners into their space to show them how their culture works. Yeah, they wash their clothes in the fucking river, but that is like happiness to them. The women do the things that make sure that the men can go out and get the food and make sure that they're taken care of, the kids are taken care of, and all of these things. It's just like they already know that they're wealthy within. And the abundance, the 3-dimensional abundance just keeps showing up, and they never have to want for anything. Never. And that's the point. That was the first lesson that I learned in the Amazon rainforest. And I was just like, holy fuck. This is literally me watching this in real time. Everything that I teach, that I'm literally seeing shift within myself, that you must become wealthy within before you become rich outside of you. And that can come with so much ease, because that belief, like, these people don't have stress. Like I got a massage out there. There's an Ayurvedic massage therapist out there. She's Brazilian and amazing and didn't speak like English, and I love that. The only thing I knew how to speak when she said inspira, expira. It just means inhale and exhale. And so when I was getting my massage from her, and then we got a translator, she was like, she was talking about like my back being like, oh my gosh. And she was telling me, she's like, you hold too much energetic weight of everybody else, including yourself, on your back. You need to learn how to ask for help. This is what she said. This is what she got out of rubbing me, out of like giving me a massage. She's like, you need to learn how to ask for help. You need to not give from an empty cup. You need to really give yourself time and space to integrate so that you can you can literally allow yourself to heal and rework itself, re-knit itself together like your muscles, and then go back out there and be even better than ever. She was telling me that nobody in the tribe, including Chief, had any tension because they knew that they could rely on the community to ask for help. They knew that that everything would come from ease. There was no need to force or chase. It was all easeful. They just knew it was going to show up when they needed it, no matter what. Yes, there was a lot of work involved. Yes, there was a lot of like building, and you had to just go with the way the Amazon decided to go with weather. If it decided to rain all day long, it just did. Like that's, you could only tell what the weather was going to be like within literally the day of. You got really good at smelling the rain, or you got really good smelling the humidity, or you got really good that you knew the heat was coming. It was just the way it went. So, and I mean, they didn't have technology, so this is how they did that. They would ask the people that just were super connected with the weather about this. And everybody pretty much was connected to nature. And so none of these people had that tension that I had. They were like, you put too much on your back, and you need to release, and you need to know when to stop, and you need to know when to quit. Because when you give from an empty cup, you're giving only half of yourself out there. And then you're completely depleted. And I was just like, what? You got all that from my shoulders? Like, oh, God. Oh, man. So I'll end this episode on that note of just the first lesson is what I really hope that you guys take away from this first part, because there's going to be many parts. I'm going to record second, third, I think even fourth, because I'll tell you about my Aya trip, how that happened, what that showed me, what new things I'm doing in my business about it, and that kind of stuff. So I do hope that from this particular episode, it just gives you a little taste, gets you a gets you to come inside the energetics of what it was to be a part of something so life-changing for me, and how I hope that I'm able to bring the Amazon here back home and help others to find the same wisdom and light that they need in order to continue to evolve and shift within their creativity, within their business, within their spirituality. And so I love you guys. And I will see you in the next episode. Holy shit. Let me know in the show notes, in the comments. Post this on Instagram. Let me know your takeaways. I love this shit so much, and I'm happy to share it. Yeah, until next time.